today I'll be teaching you three main ways on how to subtract a whole number and a fraction together. So the first method I'm going to teach you is the butterfly method. This is the most popular one, and I mostly want to use this method when it's like lower numbers, only like small numbers. But if you use this in bigger numbers, it's going to be much harder. So the butterfly method, I'll just use an example first. So 1/2 and 1/3. You're going to subtract this, okay? Subtract. The first thing that you have to do is to multiply the denominators together. So denominators are the bottom numbers here. So 2 times 3, that is 6, and that will become your denominator. And next is you have to multiply the numerator and this denominator. So 1 times 3, that is 3. And the last step is to multiply this numerator and this denominator. So 1 times 2, that is 2. And you're just going to subtract that. So 3 minus 2, that is 1/6. That is the answer. So for this example, we have 7 over minus 1/3, right? So in every whole number, there is always a denominator of 1. So 3/1, there's a denominator or a bottom number of 1. 4 has a denominator of 1, but we just write it as 4 because it's common knowledge that every number has a denominator of 1. So 6 has 1, 6, 7 has 1, 7 has 1. So by the same knowledge that we have is this 7 right here. So this 7 has a denominator of 7. 7 has a denominator of 1. So that is 1. And we just have to copy this 1/3 right here. So by the same thing that I taught earlier on how to do the butterfly method, you're just going to multiply the denominators first, or the bottom numbers. 1 times 3, that is 3. And then we're going to multiply these two numbers together. 7 times 3, that is 21. And we're going to multiply these two numbers together, which is 1 times 1, that's just 1. And we're going to subtract that. 21 minus 1, that is 20. And then we're just going to copy this denominator, and we have this answer, which is 20/3. The next method is called like the LCD, kind of like LCD method, or like you just have to make two fractions similar and similar so you can subtract them much easier. So the first thing that you have to know are similar fractions versus dissimilar fractions. So similar fractions, these are fractions that have the same denominator on the bottom. Same denominator, two fractions that have the same denominator. So here, 1/4, 2/4. They both have a 4 on the denominator or the bottom number. On the other hand, the similar fractions are fractions that have different denominators. So here, we can see that this first fraction has a denominator of 4, while this fraction has a denominator of 5. So in this method, we're going to try to make this fraction, this whole number, have a denominator of 3. But how are we going to do that? Okay, so let's rewrite that. So we have 7. We have 7. We have 7 minus. Oh my God, bruh. We have 7 minus 1. We have 7 minus 1/3. And then from our first example earlier, we know that this 7 has a denominator of 1 because all whole numbers have a denominator of 1. So let's just rewrite this as 7/1 minus 1/3. And for us to get similar fractions like this one, like the same number on the denominator, we're just going to find a way to make this 1 into a 3. So it will turn into a similar fraction. Like, for example, we have 1, 2, and 1/4. Another way to look at this is we're going to look for the LCD, right? So the LCD, this is the lowest number that that the two numbers have in common with each other. So there is 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 4, 8, 12, 16. We can see that they both have a multiple of 8. They both have a multiple of 4. They both have the same numbers when we do like the multiplication, and there's a lot more when we continue it. But the lowest common multiple is the lowest number that they both have in common. In this case, that is 4. So this 4 right here, we can use that. We're just going to think of a number that will make this 2 into a 4 when we multiply them. Like, for example, this is a 4, right? What do we multiply 2 to make it a 4? We just multiply 2 because 2 times 2, that's 4. And whatever you do at the bottom, you have to always do it at the top because that's like the mirroring thing. I forgot what it's called, but yeah. So since you multiplied 2 in this denominator, you also have to multiply 2 in the numerator. And that is 2 over 4. And if we simplify that, it's just going to be 1 over 2. So same logic here. It's what do we multiply to 1 to make it 3? That's just 3, right? Because if we multiply 1 times 3, that's going to turn into 3. And whatever you do at the top, you also have to do it. Whatever you do at the bottom, you also have to do it at the top. So you have to multiply also with by 3. Let's rewrite that at the bottom here. So we have 7 over 1 minus 1 over 3, right? And then we multiplied this by 3 on the bottom and the top. So 7 times 3, that is just 21. And 3 times 1 is just 3. And you're just going to bring this down, 1 over 3. And we can see that these two fractions now have the same denominator. Like you see this, they both have 3 on the bottom. So that's the main point of finding like the LCD. The main point is we have to think of the number, the lowest number that will turn it into the LCM or something. You just have to do that. And when we subtract similar fractions or add similar fractions, we can just subtract these two numbers together. So 21 minus 1, that is, oh my god, that is 20. And then we're just going to copy the denominator, which is 3. And we arrived at the same answer. Okay, and the other way that you can do this is just the shortcut of this LCD method thing. So in this way, you just have to multiply these two numbers together. So that is 21, right? And then you're going to subtract it, since this is the operation, subtract it with this numerator right here. So that is 1. And then you're just going to copy the denominator and we get 3. 21 minus 3, that's just 20 over 3. We have different methods, but there's always one destination, still 20 over 3. There's actually another bonus way on how to do this. This is like a lot longer than our second one. So we have 7 minus 1 over 3, right? We're just going to copy this, the one at the bottom. So the thing that you have to do is you're just going to multiply this fraction with this denominator as a fraction. Like for example, right? Our denominator here is 3. So you're going to multiply this fraction by 3 over 3. This is just the method, you know. You're going to multiply this denominator as this fraction over here. And whatever you do at this side, you also have to do at the other side. But you're not going to multiply it by 3. You're going to multiply it by this denominator. So you're just going to multiply it by 1 over 1. And we have a longer thing to solve. But that's easier now, okay? So when we multiply fractions, like here, when we multiply fractions, you just have to... When we multiply fractions, we just have to multiply the denominator with the other denominator and the numerator with the other numerator. So 3 times 7, that is 21. That's going to be our numerator. And we're going to multiply the denominator with the other denominator. So 3 times 1, that is 3. So that is our answer for this one. We solved for this one. So that is 21 over 3. Now we have to find a way on how we're going to multiply these two fractions, right? So we have 1 over 3 multiplied to 1 over 1. We're going to multiply these two numerators together. That's 1. Multiply this denominator together. 3 times 1 is 3. That's 1 over 3, right? And what did I say about similar fractions? When we both have the same denominator or the same number on the bottom, we can just do the operation in the middle as whole numbers. So 21 minus 1 is still 20 over 3. Woo! Yay! That's just the longer method. So it doesn't matter which method that you use. Just pick the easiest method that's going to make your life easier. Yeah.